Hello, everyone. My guest today is William Richards. He's a serial entrepreneur with extensive experience in large enterprise systems design and development. A software architect by trade, he's been building web-based technology since the late 90s and has held senior technology positions in large companies ranging from startups to agencies to global enterprises. William, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am.
All right. Easy Reader. People may think this is like a scripted competitor, but it's not a reading company. What do you do?
No, we do URL redirects for business.
Okay. So this is like a Bitly, but enterprise.
That's right.
Okay.
Sort of. The distinction that I would draw between Bitly or Rebrandly and us is that they tend to be focused more on the marketing side of things. In that, like the short link stuff, easy to create those. We're more focused on the IT side of things.
So give me an example of that.
Sure. So what I mean by that is that our customers tend to be enterprise type folks who come to us because they're currently managing some infrastructure around URL redirects themselves, and they don't want to do that anymore. Or people who are launching websites or doing website migrations, and they usually stumble upon this requirement at the last minute, and they're looking for a solution that is quick, but that they can trust.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where this came from.
So William, this is like, so for me right now, I've built nathanlatka.com for 10 plus years. I've just launched getlatka.com. For a lot of SEO terms, I'll rank on nathanlatka.com. So I don't want to shut it down and consolidate to getlatka.com, but I still want the SEO juice. You can help with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I won't get into all the technical terms of how it actually works, but tell me more about the business model. How do you make money?
Sure. Very simple. We charge a recurring fee on a monthly basis.
SaaS is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So what are people paying on average? Are we talking like $100 a month, $1,000, 10 million a month? What is it generally?
So lowest price plans are $10 a month. Highest price plans go to the hundreds of dollars a month, but it really does depend on the requirement.
Okay.
Typically, we see around 30 to 40 would be our kind of average cost per user.
Got it. So this problem seems like an enterprise problem, like buying and selling websites, acquiring companies, merging them. Why do this at such a low price point? Why would someone pay? Give me a case study where it's a smaller kind of person doing this. I hate saying smaller, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, for sure. So I think it's an interesting conundrum, and I struggle with this a lot. We do a lot of talking about this exact point. Sometimes, you're looking at companies that don't have a lot of capacity to do this themselves. So they're not really huge enterprises. So there's actually, I kind of say that anyone who has a website could be our customer. And so you've got the whole gamut of range of people in there. So some of them are quite small, mom and pop shops. Like we have customers who are plumbers. Mm-hmm. Like single shingle plumbers,
and tell me the life event in that plumber where they're changing their website URL. What is actually happening?
So they probably need a website, definitely need a website, and they've gone through perhaps some sort of website migration or a small acquisition. We see a lot of work in the mergers and acquisition space. People buy stuff, sell stuff. But companies of all sizes do that. But we have that, but we don't focus on that. Where we are focused is in the larger enterprise market. Yeah. Obviously, there's more money in that. There's greater retention in that. So there's a lot of reasons why we do focus on that space.
What is retention today? Churn's obviously tough for SaaS companies. Tell me about how you think in that area.
Yeah, our churn is quite good. I don't have an exact number for you, but I think it's very low single digits.
Okay, and that's annually or monthly?
Annually.
Okay, so it call it annually 5-ish, maybe 2-ish, 3-ish%, and that's logo or revenue?
That's revenue.
Revenue. Okay, great. Okay, that's very, very healthy. Walk me through more of the growth story here. What year did you launch the company in?
Launched the company in 2015.
Okay.
Started, this is all bootstrapped. I bootstrapped this myself.
I love that.
Our growth story is slower than you might expect for obviously a well-financed company, but it's working out for us actually. So started in 2015, and we've been slowly adding and growing our customer base, and the growth is increasing on a month-over-month basis. And we've had a couple of inflection points where we've really jump-started things.
Tell me about the last inflection. Actually, first, give me your growth rate year over year right now, and then tell me about that last inflection point.
Okay, revenue. I actually did pull up these numbers for you. Revenue growth year over year is 275%.
Wow. Okay. That's great.
Customer growth was 156%. So going to show that we are actually making more money than we have before.
And what are you at now in terms of total customers you're serving?
Total customers are in, I'm not going to get into exact numbers,
Okay.
but I'll say that they're in the hundreds of customers per month that are active current. We've done thousands of trials, many thousands of trials.
Okay. But I mean, is it fair to say, I mean, so not more than 1,000, but can we put I want to give you credit. So can we say like more than 500, but between 500 and 1,000, is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's do that. So minimum 500, and you're growing 275% year over year. Now, if I take that 500 times that $30 ARPU, that's 15 grand a month. Is that about right size wise?
Yep.
Okay, good. So bootstrap the company, healthy retention, doing all the right things. Tell me about the last inflection point.
Last inflection point was when we launched a feature that does the automatic SSL certificate management. So this is a really big deal for companies, especially because now Google is saying, your site should be secure, and that has an SEO impact. So people are starting to be concerned about that. And not only that, because people have been doing this for some time, they now have links out in the wild that reference HTTPS. So now they need to support SSL redirects. And that has typically been really annoying because you had to manage all that SSL certificate stuff yourself. And now we do it entirely for you, completely automatically. It takes zero work.
Interesting. And why do you define that as an inflection point? Talk like metrics to me.
So when we launched that feature, you could see in our analytics that conversions and signups, trials, everything, the whole world just went boom. It was a huge growth point.
Did conversion rate hold? In other words, pre that launch, you were converting 10% of trials as a customer. Did you keep it at that high percent, even with more volume coming in the top?
Yes.
That's great. That's really great. Okay. How are you getting these customers? What does your CAC look like?
So where they come from, let's talk about that.
Sure.
We have really pretty good SEO. We've been working on that really hard. So our SEO is doing quite well. We used to spend more on kind of CPC.
Like how much?
PPC. We're spending very little now. Very little, like less than $500 a month.
How much were you spending?
We were spending thousands.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I mean, a pretty significant portion of your revenue.
Yeah.
And you
shifted that. But it's gone now. We don't do that anymore.
You shifted that spend to, hey, let's get an SEO guy in here. Let's optimize some SEO stuff. And now you get the traffic for free.
Right. We've spent a lot of time building blog articles. So we've got like a lot of thought leadership posts. We've done some guest posts with NS1, where we've kind of co-branded that. And we've established some good relationships with players. We have a really good relationship with Hubspot right now. They refer us a lot of customers. NS1 refers us a lot of customers. And we treat their customers really, really well. So I think that they're happy to continue doing that.
And what's the team size at today?
We're at about 5 people in some sort of capacity of direct connection. And then we use a number of subcontracting companies for various things on a sort of project by project basis.
Full-time though, what, 2 or 3?
Yeah, 3.
3 people. Okay, full-time. And where are you guys all based?
Currently, we're all in Calgary just because that's where I know everyone. But we are all remote. We don't have an office. We all work out of our own place, and I want it to continue growing the company as a remote company.
Yeah, it adds a lot of freedom if you can figure out how to get your kind of virtual infrastructure set up to allow that to work. So going back on the CAC question, it sounds like, you really minimize spend here, but you're spending $500 ish a month right now. What's it spending you to, or what's it costing you to acquire a new customer?
I don't have that exact number, but not a lot.
Okay.
I can tell you that we have
less than $30.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're getting your pay.
Sure.
If people are coming on and your average price point is $30 a month, you're getting paid back in less than a month, easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So why not do more paid spend? That's a quick payback period.
We're looking at it. We're trying to find the vehicle that works. We've tried a lot of different things, and I don't know, nothing's just really clicking for me on that. Obviously we're going to continue to iterate on that and probably pull in some people who are frankly smarter than the rest of us to help us figure out what that solution should look like.
This is interesting. So you're in the early days. You bootstrapped this. You've had a few exits in your past, right?
What's that?
It sounds like you've had some success in your past, right? In terms of exits.
I haven't done an exit yet thus far, but
Okay.
This is not my first startup. That's for sure.
Okay. So
I've learned a lot.
I was going to say, what did you learn like at the last one that you've implemented in this one?
Oh man. What did I learn at the last one? Concentrate on your business. So my background is technology. So, that's where I used to focus a lot of effort. And so I've focused all of my effort on the business in this. And not only that, the other lesson that I learned is iterate. Do tiny little things and test them.
Yep. There's a big belief that I've got, Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book about 10,000 hours. I think in our world, for a software person's brain, it's the first person to 10,000 tests win. And the higher velocity tests you can do at scale, look at Amazon, Facebook, they're running millions of tests annually.
Yeah.
So what infrastructure have you set up to run these tests?
So we've got great analytics. So I've really focused hard on analytics. So that's giving us a ton of data that comes in all the time. Now it's figuring out, okay, what is meaningful in this? And then using that to make decisions and test further theories.
Yep. That makes good sense, Will. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's the last business book you read?
The last one, I'll talk about my favorite one.
Okay.
And my favorite one is Rework. I'm a huge fan of the guys at 37 Signals, Basecamp now. And they're just general strategy on business. So that's one for me.
Number 2, is there a CEO that you're following or studying there in Calgary?
No, well, I really like Toby from Shopify.
Yep.
I really like the way he speaks. I like the way he talks about his company. I think Shopify is a great company.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
Hands down, Intercom.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
Lots, like 9.
That's great. What's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
I'm married.
No kids?
No kids.
And how old are you?
I'm 42.
42. Okay, last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What do I wish my 20-year-old self knew? Worry less about the details and be better as being a generalist.
Interesting. Less about the details, more about being a generalist. Coming from a guy with a tech background, I like that piece of advice. He's learned a lot of lessons at his last startups. He's now building, again, Easy Reader. Launched in 2015, team of 3 full-time, 5 full-time and part-time contractors, obviously. Helping companies really get their redirects down, whether it's enterprise or a plumber that just bought a smaller plumbing company that needs a redirect working properly. They saw a big point kind of change in terms of customer growth when they introduced SSL redirects. They're serving 500 customers today, paying on average $30 a month for 15 grand a month in revenue, growing about 275% year over year right now. Will, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thanks for having me.